Well, let's turn to this story now. The Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's calling for calm following days of sectarian violence between Hindus and Muslims that has killed at least 27 people. The unrest has been centred around Muslim-majority neighbourhoods there in the northeast of Delhi, and there are reports that Muslim homes and shops are being deliberately targeted. The BBC's Rajini Vaidyanathan sent us this report.
Fear as tensions remain high in Delhi. The national capital, a battleground. Violent clashes between Hindus and Muslims have rocked the city for days. Entire neighbourhoods ripped apart as mobs roam the streets. The riots have been centred in the northeast of the city, in largely Muslim neighbourhoods. This mosque was set alight. The charred remains lay scattered. The death toll's rising, both Muslims and Hindus casualties of these clashes.
Thanks very much to Regini. Well, there are some truly harrowing stories coming out of the violence. This is one. This is about an 85-year-old woman who was burnt to death in her home on Tuesday. Now remember, this all started over a controversial citizenship law that grants amnesty to non-Muslim immigrants from neighbouring countries, but not to Muslims. Mr Modi, whose Hindu Nationalist Party has been accused of fueling the violence, something it denies, has broken his 3-day silence on the issue. He has tweeted. Let's take a look. He says, "Peace and harmony are central to our ethos. I appeal to my sisters and brothers of Delhi to maintain peace and brotherhood at all times. It's important that there is calm and normalcy restored at the earliest." Amid criticism about the government's lack of response, officials have on Wednesday been making extra efforts to show that they're taking the issue seriously. Let's take a look here. This is India's National Security Advisor, who's been visiting the worst affected areas to try and reassure people. And here's what he had to say about how the situation is being handled.
All the communities are cooperating. There is no need for fear. We have deployed enough security forces. The police is doing its job with complete diligence.
Well, questions are being asked about why it has taken the police so long to begin restoring peace to the city. Among them is one journalist who's been describing to the BBC what she faced in one of the neighbourhoods at the centre of the violence.
There was absolutely no police in the entire area. There were mobs at different places. There were multiple mobs holding lathis, sticks, and they were sporting a tika, a saffron tika on their heads. And they were openly calling for an extermination of Muslims, and I went there as a journalist, and I was really scared because first of all they were not receptive of journalists, and second of all the thing was that I was a Muslim myself.
Well, comparisons have been drawn between the violent scenes we've been seeing on Delhi's streets and also the country's worst ever instances of sectarian violence. Let's get more of a sense how Muslims and Hindus are feeling. Here's the BBC's Yogita Lamai.
We've spoken to people from both communities. Muslims have told us they feel extremely scared. They accuse the police of abetting with the Hindus to beat them, vandalize their homes. What the Hindus have told us is that the Muslims were shooting at them and throwing stones at them. We've also been to a small hospital in the area where doctors said they couldn't cope, but even ambulances couldn't make it through from here to take patients who were grievously injured to bigger and better hospitals. And this area, even today, remains tense.